Hey, everybody. So I was doing a little bit of prep for a video, and then I realized that this is actually probably the important part of the video itself is how I go about prepping and brainstorming and using GPT 3 and 4 to kind of plan and do most of my biddings. Right? This is my AI assistant, and let's see what we can do. It's probably a long form free balling video. Don't know where it's gonna go, but let's see. I do have some ideas about a concept app, so I really want some kind of a tool, and it's going to be a concept app that is involved testing, doing some quality assurance, and most likely with some email marketing involved. And I'll show you why and what. So I was already doing some research, and I'm very curious and interested in this new technology here. LangChain company developed a language learning model and provides an ecosystem of guides and tools for building natural language processing applications. So LangChain is going to be part of our application. I'm kind of building the framework right now of what the application is going to consist of and what it can do. And it is relying on some of the earlier knowledge I've gained from looking into what could be used and how to put things together. So eventually you come to discovering things like LangChain and Pinecone and Zapier and things that are new to me, new to you, new to everybody until you actually get to them and find out. But eventually you are able to ask a little bit more and a little bit more in-depth questions, and this thing never stops answering. So right now, overall, the exercise is easy. It's with GPT 3.5, so it's fast and reliable, but also simple. It's not super duper cognitively advanced, but it doesn't need to be for the initial thing. Since we're limited on GPT-4 usage and how much GPT-4 is available, how many queries, I start out with 3.5 and then progress over to 4. So I have just a list of a whole bunch of applications that I got from LangChain site ecosystem. Kind of got an idea of a little summary, so I asked it to give me a summary of each one, find out a bit more. Discovered a little bit more of what it could be used and useful going down further down the line, and eventually know that I want something that has some LangChain and Pinecone, which is a cloud native vector database building search recommendation system. So I'll kind of explain a little later. And then Zapier, which is a web automation tool. So overall, LangChain is something that breaks. It uses machine learning to summarize things and kind of like get an understanding of what you're giving it, and then it can answer questions, process things in a natural language. And Pinecone is a way to create a vector database, which is basically encoding all of the words into numbers, and into numbers in like a 3D funky crazy kind of way, in order for the search algorithm to then be able to find things easier. So basically, it's a way of taking words, putting them into numbers, so that the machine and the code can find things easier. And Zapier web automation allows users to connect different web applications and automate workflows. So we can do things all over the web in different ways. So we'll see. Overall, let's see what we can do. So I ask it, does it have advanced knowledge of each of this? It said it's been trained on the one range of topics. It might not have access to internal proprietary information, but it knows its documentation. And there are limitations because this is limited to 2021, the end of 2021. So the most modern, up to date reasoning, it's not quite up there. So it doesn't really know like the latest thing. So I might have to feed it a bit of knowledge a little later as we go down. Overall, what's the objective? Well, I'm working on a blog post that is a comprehensive framework for AI quality assurance techniques, collaboration, and most importantly, real world applications. And some of the things, like going into is of course, the integration of traditional software testing with AI specific techniques. There's going to be a big transition into that as we move forward with AI. Coming up with some automated tools for testing AI, making sure that you're always kind of monitoring and staying on top of what's going on, so that you can actually make modifications and improvements. And some of the case studies and the applications is, of course, the big one here that is interested to me as of late is the AI-driven marketing emails, healthcare applications, financial systems. You can do fraud detection. Healthcare, you can create different diagnostics tools and interesting innovations in all kinds of different fields. But in this case, I'm looking at that quality assurance is actually crucial for AI-driven marketing emails. And this is ChatGPT kind of coming up with a lot of its own. So this is why when I see something like that, it does kind of give me a big boom, kind of splash in the eye. And that is how I see it, is how I've increased the font to make it bold. That's what my brain kind of responds to, is that, okay, we now have, it knows about this and it's given me some additional information. Now I know let's keep going. And then secondary, it looks like it says, it's crucial for AI-driven marketing emails. Quality assurance is crucial for it to testing AI models for audience segmentation, timing, and content generation. So now I'm seeing the things that it's telling me I should ask it. That's what kind of like the underlying stuff. So overall, the rigorous quality assurance is crucial for AI-driven marketing emails to deliver personalized, engaging content that drives conversations. By testing AI models for audience segmentation, timing, and content generation, marketers can optimize their email campaigns for maximum impact and ensure ethical, compliant, whatever. But the key thing here is that we got audience segmentation, timing, and content generation. Okay, we now have certain parameters that we can be using. And then optimize their email campaigns for maximum impact. So we can start to now direct ChatGPT into doing certain things. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be select that and do some copying. And we'll get to this more advanced stuff probably later in a different video. But for now, what I'm going to ask it is try to say, okay, I need a framework, and I'm just going to go fast, and so don't worry. But spelling is going to be terrible because I'm horrible at spelling, but oftentimes ChatGPT doesn't care. I need a framework for a Python app, and we'll clear things up. For a Python app, we'll do not using, but it will actually do integrating open AI chain and Pinecone. Okay, We'll just start with that. And now it's just kind of priming really me as to what needs to be done. That's great. But it also, more importantly, is priming itself. I'm priming it to know what it's doing and know what it needs to do. And it's really amazing stuff. So basic framework is going to tell me that I need to install certain things, set up authentication. You'll need to set up authentication, connect to Pinecone. Once we authenticated with Pinecone, we can connect to Pinecone servers using Pinecone client. Create a LangChain instance. Use LangChain to generate text. You can use LangChain instance to generate text by calling completion create. Add generated text to Pinecone index when you have generated. Here's a simple code to get you started. Okay. And so we now have, in this example, we connect to a Pinecone index, name mine index, create a LangChain instance used to generate text based on a prompt, and then add the resulting text, and it's embedding to a Pinecone index with a who knows, a lot of detail here that we'll eventually, I'm pretty sure, get to. But overall, along with this specific use case. Okay, so let's start adding a little bit more now, because we do have some sample code, and this is all like in 3.5. So this is all the very basic stuff, and we're still kind of priming it and trying to get what I'm trying to get, like a base set of data to feed into 4 and to give me the really, really good, clever stuff. So as we continue further, I'll need an application with the following objective. Okay, so it's giving me, seems like a bit of a generic response. Let's see what we can do here. Some specific tools and technologies that you could use to build this app. It's giving me technology stacks here. So this is Python stuff. You can see that different libraries, TensorFlow. So this is PyTorch. This scrapes websites. Automation, very interesting. Okay. And then Azure Blob Storage. This actually is a very interesting stack that I'm familiar with. A lot of these technologies integrate with MailChimp. So see, this is how it's incredibly important. It's really just giving me everything that I need now. I now know to continue exactly what I need. So specific tools and technologies that we're going to be able to do this. Let's do this. So it's supposed to collect data, pre-process data, train AI models, evaluate models, optimize models. Okay, beautiful. To build an AI-driven marketing email application with rigorous quality assurance, you can follow these steps. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's take this and copy it from here. We can just take everything and keep in mind that building an AI-driven marketing and email application, it's a complex and challenging task. Well, we're definitely not going to do that tonight, but curious how far we can get. Let's just do this. build an AI-driven marketing email application. Now, it's going to tell me, I don't know how to do it. So we'll ask nicely. Me build with the following requirements. Okay. So that way it doesn't get too spooked out. Start complaining that I'm asking it to do all the work. But I want to make it do as much as possible. Let's see where this gets us. Yeah. Okay. So, again, it's now taking in what I've asked it, and now should get a general kind of mind space developed that has all of these keywords and all of these technologies now in its mind, as you would think. So now we're talking to GPT-4, and as you saw on the selection there, on the selection menu, we have 3.5, 3.5 Turbo, and 4. So nobody uses 3.5. 3.5 Turbo is the cheapest and the quickest and the smartest for the price. And then there's 4, which is more expensive, slower, and retardedly limited by OpenAI right now to like 23 queries. So that's why I have to prime it on the other side and hop back and forth. But the advantage here is that 4 allows for more of submission text. So it's able to basically kind of conceptualize more and a lot more text than 3.5. So every time when they say GPT has like a memory or has some sense of memory, it's that every time we ask it a question, with that question, we submit back the entire history of questions. So everything that it's been asked before in this chat session gets pushed back in. And so 3.5 could only take in about 6 pages of text before stopping dead. So it would be almost kind of like a trailing six pages. So every time you would get a little bit further, it would forget something that's 6.5 pages long. Six and a half pages away. Chat GPT now takes in something like I think 28, 30 pages, something like that. So a whole lot more of history it remembers. Not only that, but 4 compared to 3.5 is significantly more trained and just a much smarter system overall. And so not only is it able to take in a lot more information, it's also able to output a whole lot more. And so now it's given us this, what we need to do, feature engineering and extract relevant features from the data. And so a whole bunch of stuff that I would, take my time and read. But at this point, it's just an example really of what's feasible. Let's say, let's go with, I need a Python application, and Python is a code development environment, right? So I mentioned earlier, Python and its libraries are popular choices, such as web scraping APIs, available data sets to clean, normalize, okay, feature engineering. So we kind of just have to tell it like a little bit more. Your Python application that, and let's see, where are we? That tests AI-driven marketing emails, and then rigorous quality assurance is critical. Okay. Uh, Python application and so let's see. The test AR drone. Here we go. Now we're starting to get something. Using scikit, learn, pandas, and numpy. This example assumes you have a data set with features and labels, as well as trained AI models for audience segmentation, timing, and content generation. You can replace the placeholder models and data sets with your own. Okay. Now, this is all very interesting. And so load your data set. So it assumes that. Okay. So now we have the baseline code. Now for our baseline code and all of our coding, we're going to be using Code VS. It's a simple, well, not simple, it's actually a very advanced, free coding interface platform which allows you to put in the code. It knows what it is. You save the file, you push play, it runs the code. It's simple in that sense. It's also very advanced. If you're a hardcore developer, you can use that as well as somebody who's like beginner, who doesn't know anything. And I fall pretty much close to that side. I don't really know what the hell. So it's doing all of this. Okay. It's already looking like it's way too complex for me. I would look at each of this in detail. It is crazy clever that it puts the comments here to tell you exactly what the code is going to do and what it's doing. Split the data into features and labels, split the data into training and testing sets, load your trained AI model for audience segmentation. So here we go. So we're now breaking things down. Timing model. So these are the different models, and so this is little by little. Now we're moving, right? Now we're moving in the right direction. These questions that I have, and you have, and everybody's like normal would have, is how we progress. This is the beauty of it. So now that instead of in the past looking at this and trying to learn everything behind the entire technology, we're going down, and what you know, what you don't know, you're going to ask it. It's going to tell you, and then you're going to pick out and kind of harvest information and data from there. So let's see, it's doing, so this even gives it, this Python script perform the following step: loads the data set, pre-processes it, splits the data into features and labels, and then into training and testing sets. Test the AI models, audience segmentation, timing, and content generation using cross-validation, and reports the mean and standard deviation of accuracy, precision. I mean, look at this. It's already freaking advanced and intense. And we can continue on improving and asking it things like, I'd like to use, I'd like to integrate OpenAI into this app. Let's see what. So look at that. I asked it in something fitting of my capacity, which is pretty much a simpleton. So I just like to integrate OpenAI into this app. It already knows that we're talking about GPT-3, and it formulates the question itself. So a very, very awesome tool. Incredible. Just I hope you can start to realize and start to expand your horizons of what is possible. And because the sky is the limit. So this I already see that it's creating all the bare bones I'm seeing certain things being used that are a bit outdated, but we can improve. Interesting. It already has the model. Huh. Okay. Replace the content generation model in the models dictionary function. So there we go. So it's giving me even models. Model equals DaVinci. Okay. So this is the place where we put our key that you have to get from OpenAI. So this is basically the access to their interface, to their API. It's the way to get into them, to all the functionality that they have to offer. So it's giving me a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. And again, don't really pay attention if you don't understand any of this, because 90% of this I don't either. At some point I might, but that's not really the important part of this exercise. It's really just, again, how we talk to it. And so it's telling me now what I need to do. First, we need to install OpenAI, add the following import statements and functions to your Python script, right? So it's like telling me what needs to happen, right? Now includes the model for content generation. You need to obtain the API key from OpenAI, as I mentioned, and it knows that as well. It's just amazing. You can further refine the creation of a specific case. Okay, so create a simple UI and user experience, and output the whole script. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. You can't go wrong. Oh wow, Streamlit. It's actually, it was giving me a different application. It was using TK. To develop this. So it's very interesting. It's now suggesting Streamlit. There's various different ways to go about things, and this time it's telling me this. So it says install Streamlit. Let's copy that. Let's copy that over here into the terminal. I'm gonna check that out. Okay, so now we install something. Now we're going to create a new file. Okay, look at that. It's installing. Just copy the code. Let's see what happens here. It's generating all this. As you can see that with 4, it's slow, but it's clever. It's worth the wait. So now we have a new file, and it's installing all of the necessary things right now for Streamlit. So it's actually coming up right now with all of the different, let's see, so it imports all of the different utilities that was going to be needed in the code. It's telling us this is basically where it's connecting to the OpenAI API. This is where we're going to be putting in our special key. This is the function to generate the content. So this is where we actually do the call. We're going to be using model DaVinci. I think we're going to be updating that to a GPT 3.5 Turbo. Okay. And it's got certain parameters here that would be submitted along with our query, which is the amount of tokens. And here's the response, where it's going to come back. Response equals response, completion. So some of these things have to be updated to meet the new standard. And I'll show you that the standard now is to do a call to chat completion and get the 3.5 turbo. And these days, this is kind of what it looks like. You have to formulate with messages and statement, and then along with messages, there are system user and I think administrator. And so the way that we talk to OpenAI these days is a little bit different. A little bit different than what its older documentation is aware of. So let's see. Note the UI does not include the evaluation of the audience segmentation and timing. I have no idea what's going on, but let's see. Let's find out what happened. So exciting. Look at this. It's like a microwave that just finished cooking your meal. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we got everything installed. Let's see. Open the terminal, navigate. Sure. Let's run Streamlit with installed Streamlit. And now let's save this. Let's save this as, what are we doing? Email. Let's do email test. Sure. That spy. Okay. Now, what's the next one? Oh, I see. App Pie. Streamlit. Now, actually, I don't think it's here, so we gotta go into the directory that I believe it is. Let's see what's in here. Now, keep in mind, guys, I don't know how to code. I don't know how to do any of this. I just learned this a few weeks ago. I come from a very, very long career in software and quality assurance and automation. I mean, I do know how to code, but I'm not a professional coder in any sense of the way. So I'm very much more towards the side of layman. So eventually you learn all this, and so here we go. Let's see what do we got? Okay. Let run, and let's see. No, we don't want to do that accidentally. All right. Fingers crossed. What the heck? Okay. Yeah, there's a blank. What in the monkey fuck? Hurry. Oh boy. Okay, so this is like a web-based tool. All right. Sure. So let's see what we can. We take that, pop it back in. So I got this error. I have no idea what this is. I don't really care. Let's see what we got. There we go. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a few of these kind of situations. And what is it asking me? So Python, allow me, yeah, whatever. I'll let you create web services. I think I just kind of potentially unleashed GPT-3 on the world. Let's see. You should be able to run your script without encountering. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, module not found. We didn't even need to go to the website to do it. Here's our terminal already told us this problem. But this is interesting. So we're creating a web tool. Wow, it's not even like the application that I had, which was on the local. This is a web app. And this is brilliant. Let's see. So Okay. Let's install scikit. Okay. Yeah, well, probably some of the other modules as well. I thought it would need. Let's see what else. But that is very exciting because we actually got further than I thought. So let's see again, guys. This is the long and slow way of doing this, but this is how it's done. And I'm very interested to see what is happening after this connection error. Still running. You accidentally stopped. Not seen this interface. Not worked with Streamlit. Yeah, made with Streamlit. How exciting! Streamlit.io, a faster way to build and share data apps. Streamlit turns data scripts into shareable web apps in minutes, all in pure Python. No front-end experience required. I mean, that's me. Holy moly. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's just go over here. Let's add it to the tools. Make sure we don't forget. We'll deal with that a little later, but how exciting. And so let's see what else we have here. We have, while we wait, and I think that's actually finished. Let's take a look. Okay. All right. Next issue. There's always issues. Got it. There's no data set. Okay. It needs my data. Gotcha. Can you update the UI? This is exactly it. Yeah, of course. So little by little, we're going to build up all of the functionality. Can you update the UI to allow me to select a data set? Because I don't have one yet. Sure. Okay. So now I believe we already have this. So let's double check. So we have Streamlit as ST. Okay. So it's telling us, of course, again, that we need to import Streamlit. Function to generate content using GPT-3. Yes. UI component. Okay. We can find that. I believe it's now telling us AI-driven marketing email app. That's the title. I believe it's already should be there. UI component. Okay, title. Of course. And here we go. Dataset upload. Upload your dataset. So dataset upload. UI component. So it's basically telling us that after the UI component, we're going to add all of this. And I love that it gives us the comments. The UI does not include the evaluation of the audience segmentation. Okay. Let's not. Okay, let's. I just noticed that it's telling us more interesting things. So dataset upload. Preprocess the data placeholder function. Data preprocessing function. Data pre-process, interesting. Oh, okay. It's basically placeholder. We're going to be pre-processing the data, of course, as it loads. Beautiful. It's already like foreseen what we're going to have to be doing. Load your trained AI models for audience. Load your models, input. Okay, beautiful. Let's see. Let's just see. Okay, so all of this is going to be right after the UI components. Okay, so we're going to put the input for content generation. And do we have input for content generation here? Okay, we do. So we'll replace that, the generate button and content prompt. That looks like it stays the same. Enter prompt, generate content, text input button, generate content. Okay, so it looks like that stays the same, and then there is an else. Okay, so what we will do, we're going to add the dataset upload, data preprocess, split the data into features and labels, and we'll add it up to here. And we'll put that past here. Okay, input for content generation, and then we'll create this else as well. So that's the difference. And I could have just actually pasted in the whole thing and said, just give me a brand new thing with everything. And I probably will end up doing that, but this is more of a my own personal exercise where I kind of get to know what's going on a little bit more intimately by working through this like that. But I guess for the sake of this video, I shouldn't have really taken that much time to do so. So let's see if I save, and we're going to stop the process, and let's cross our fingers and see what happens. Okay, so something is not gelling still. No such file, a directory, giving me all kinds of mumbo jumbo. Let's see. I got all of this. But again, I hope you guys are starting to see how much, and it's apologies for the confusions, I see that the script still contains the line that tries to read a data set for a file name. Oh, of course. There we go. So let's see if we can figure out on our own. And where is your data set? Upload your data set, CSV. Where are you? Load your data set. No, we don't want that. Okay. So import Streamlit as ST, marketing email, title, we got that, dataset upload, uploaded file equals, we got that, right? Uploaded files equals yes. If uploaded file, data. Let's just move this, make it a little easier. And let's move this to make this a little easier. And I'll just say enough's enough. And this will be the last one I do for part 1, and most likely we'll continue development and we'll show this further along at part 2, and hopefully let's see if this script right here actually allows us a fully functional application in some way. At the very least, I'm hoping for is a functional front end. We'll start to work through what happens afterwards, but look at what it's already produced. Look at what's already created. This is incredible. So I know for sure there's going to be several things that has to be updated, but like the calls over to GPT and certain modifications. But if I didn't know that, we would encounter this at some point, some issues, we would ask it to fix it, and it would fix it. And it would take an extra few minutes, and it would take maybe a little while to figure out what is going on. But eventually, look at what it's producing. Look at what it's creating. So, incredible. And this application right here overall, as this is an example of what it could do, and it took a couple of hours of iterative process of building on. I'd like this to do this. I'd like that to say that. I'd like this to look like this. Here's what's happening. Here's the problem. And now it's a fully functional YouTube transcript processor. It's a Python application, as you can see, written in a different style. It's not a web app. It's a full-on UI for the local machine. And now what we're creating is something that I didn't even know existed, which was this web front end for our application. And so let's see if it was clever enough to finally do what it needed to. Let's take a look. Now something not quite right, and warning: to use the Streamlit app on the browser, run it with the following command. Email test app. Guys, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? AI-driven marketing email application. And that's the start. So, yeah, AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, but it's going to create so much more. It's going to create your replacement and my replacement, and we're all going to go into a dystopia. But for now, look at amazing, incredible, and I'm going to do video 2 shortly, because now, look, I can't believe this is happening. So, wow, fully functional. It's here, running locally. We can now basically publish this already online on the web, and this will be a tool. We can browse files. Look at that. It's even got look at this. Please upload a data set to proceed. This is absolutely incredible. Absolutely. I can't believe there's a link to something here that we'll just be able to add on top of and iterate more and more. And I now just have to take a look and see what's possible. And I'm sure it'll do it. And then we'll improve even further in the back end. We'll optimize the code. We'll make things much faster, smarter. We'll be using the long chain, the Pinecone, all those things, and come up with maybe something amazing really quick. But I hope that really just inspired you to come up with something amazing yourself. That's really the key of this video, is just to show how in regular world, regular life, we can come up now with something really incredible, really amazing with GPT-4. All right, you found this video interesting, and one more, and help me out with the algorithm. Like, subscribe, and thumbs up this thing, and hit the notification bell. Yeah. All right, take it easy.